Hey, what's up, ladies and gentlemen? This is David Benjamin from HealthyWildAndFree.com. Today I'm here with two friends of mine at the Divine Pine Gathering in Irish Hills, Michigan. And today we're going to talk about wherever the conversation leads. I guess we'll see. But we're going to definitely talk about mushrooms and foraging and medicinal mushrooms and the value of them. And it's cool because when you come to experiences like this, you meet people like this. I actually knew Blake before. But this is Pete, I'm sorry, what's that name again?
Savoy.
Pete Savoy with Havenswood, which is a nonprofit that teaches and educates people on medicinal mushrooms and edible mushrooms, really one and the same. And really just, not preaches, but like shares the gospel of mushrooms, which is really cool. And this is Blake Bowman. He's the founder of Gorilla Zen Fitness, or just Gorilla Zen. And also a company called Potentia that's making a blend for anxiety. So I'm here today just to chat with them and have like a little bit of a fireside chat and to explore and kind of educate you guys, the viewers, on mushrooms and the value of them. And yeah, just see where it leads. So what got you started, both of you? Kind of a question. We got both of you started into foraging mushrooms.
Go ahead, Blake.
We actually kind of have a similar story with that. I started foraging mushrooms after learning about chaga from Daniel Vitalis. And I started looking for it, and pretty much I started finding it, and then I started expanding my knowledge of other things in forage, and I just kind of fell in love with the whole process of, you know, going out and finding them and then extracting them. It just like, the whole thing was pretty like, just really cool to me. So that's kind of like how I got involved in it. You know, I always liked spending time in the woods and being able to spend time in the woods and do something like productive, like leave the woods with like medicine, just really appealed to me.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, similar. It was chaga for me.
Yeah.
I had a property in New Hampshire, where I'm from, and just walking around the woods one day soon after I had moved in there, found this big black piece of what looked like charcoal or something growing on the side of a birch tree, and just started looking into it, trying to figure out what it was.
Yeah.
And I found a mushroom guy that wasn't too far from me, and I talked him into coming out and walked around my property, and turns out I had tons of fantastic mushrooms growing all over the place that I didn't even realize, you know, what they were. I had no idea what the potential of the healing abilities were, especially. So then that just kind of got me hooked. Started taking classes, reading all the books. So I had started a farm out there. We were cultivating mushrooms and selling them to restaurants and farmers markets and things like that. But then I really started to see the potential of the medicinal side and the abilities that these mushrooms had to really almost like heal us in a way. There's just a lot of conditions today, a lot of ailments that we all have that mushrooms can really help. They can make a lot easier, especially with anything that has to do with your immune system. Most mushrooms have this amazing ability to just help balance our overall system. They do that for the planet. They do that for the earth. They do that for the trees and, you know, the plants all around them. Without the mycelial mat, the trees and plants don't receive the water that they need. You know, we were talking this weekend a lot about just the new stuff that's coming out about the relationship between trees and fungi and how important that fungi, that mycelial mat, is to the trees. The trees absorb like 90% of their water through the mycelial mat.
Really?
So invasive species and things like that are coming in, that are suffocating, you know, the mycelial mat. It's hurting the trees and everything. The trees have a backup system, obviously, to take in water, but it puts a lot more stress on them, and that's not what they're used to. So,
What do you mean they absorb water from the mycelial mat?
So the roots of the trees are actually going to intertwine with the rhizomorphs, the roots of the mycelium, and they're going to blend together. And the mycelium and the trees, the whole environment is completely in tune with each other. The trees can tell when other trees are lacking things. The mycelium, the mushrooms can tell when the dirt is lacking something. The trees, when a mushroom breaks down, when a mushroom starts to rot, it'll only allow certain bacteria to break it down, where the byproduct of it breaking down is what the environment needs. The trees are lacking nitrogen or something like phosphorus or whatever it is. So when that mushroom breaks down, it's going to make sure that it's going to leave some of that phosphorus or nitrogen for the trees.
Wow.
So we don't really realize how important the mycelium is to the whole environment. It's nature's decomposers. Without mushrooms, we probably wouldn't have the dirt. You know, like we wouldn't be here maybe. You know, without mushrooms. So And there's a relationship that goes back thousands of years. I think we've just lost the connection to. So I think nowadays we have science that's doing all this work, and Western medicine is really starting to get excited about the healing potential of mushrooms, and they're making these discoveries. But in reality, we're just kind of, in my opinion, we're just kind of remembering. This is stuff we've forgotten or maybe lost touch with, and now we're coming at it from a new angle, and we're making these discoveries, and it's so amazing and it's so cool, but it's been there the whole time, right? It's just humans are now really seeing it in a new way, I think. In this time and in this era, it's more important than ever, I think. You know, we need to take care of this planet, you know, and there's a whole lot going on that I think we just don't even realize. But it's a pretty exciting time to be alive.
Yeah, it's interesting that I didn't realize you said 90% of trees being watered.
Yeah, trees,
From the
bushes,
mycelium
they
flora.
get like 90% of their
Crazy.
water. This is information that I'm just learning now,
Wow.
just in the last few weeks. So,
So
this is
they're
pretty
just
current.
sucking it up out of the mycelium,
Kind of
just kinda like a
soaking it in,
sponge.
Yep.
like a sponge.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Interesting.
And it's interesting that the mushrooms then grow on the trees
Yeah.
and the bark. And it's a
Yeah.
very
Yeah, It's a very-
exchangeable relationship
sure,
that
absolutely.
the mushrooms have. Very cool. So we're in Michigan, and there's mushrooms all over, you know, the forest floor, all over the world. What are some of the medicinal mushrooms that we can find here in the kind of Midwest region, or the northern? I mean, I'm sure it's New Hampshire. This region all has the same, you know, mushrooms growing. What are some of the mushrooms you enjoy finding, cultivating, creating extract from, creating? We had this amazing, just FYI for the viewers, we had this amazing mushroom cocktail of like reishi. What else was in there?
There's 8 different mushrooms in there. There's
Turkey
reishi,
tail,
chaga, turkey tails,
chaga,
tinder conch, false tinder conch,
So
birch
good.
polypore.
kind of like coffee on crack, and great for the immune system.
Real mushroom coffee, not
Yeah,
myceliated grain coffee.
yeah. It is the real deal, the real stuff. Yeah, so that was a really cool experience. Havenswood, this is something that they make for people and just share as sort of an educational tool to become indoctrinated in a healthy, friendly way with the world of mushrooms. But what are some of your favorite mushrooms that you utilize in your life for, you know, health, healing?
Yeah. Well, Pete pretty much put all of the best medicinal mushrooms from the area into that tea. So, like, you know, chaga is definitely one of my favorites. Turkey tail, reishi is really awesome. Did you have turkey tail in there too? Yeah. So,
King
yeah,
and
he
queen.
put like everything in there.
King and queen.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, the king and the
chaga
queen.
and reishi.
Yeah.
Indeed. Yep.
Yeah.
Birch polypore, tinder conch. They're all immunomodulating, you know, like Pete said. So just good stuff.
Yeah, doesn't it influence blood sugar as well?
Yes, yep. Blood sugar, heart, cholesterol. I mean, you pick a condition, you pick an ailment, and there's a mushroom out there that's probably going to help you. Yeah,
Nice.
definitely. Lion's mane is my favorite. It's not in the tea in this particular blend, but you can find it on beech trees. You can find it in maple trees. You can find it all over the northern part of our country.
Nice.
But in other countries, they've been using it for a long time for anything that has to do with the brain, dementia, Alzheimer's, things like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any kind of neurodegenerative disease or nerve injury.
Memory, so
Nerve
people
injury.
with memory issues, things like that.
Yeah.
Check out the lion's mane.
It causes dendrite outgrowth, which is growth of new neurological tissue.
Nice.
Yeah.
Lion's mane.
Yeah. So any kind of like learning activity
Yeah.
is enhanced if you supplement with the extract of lion's mane prior to trying to learn something.
Oh, nice.
And that could be like movement patterns with your body, like
Yeah.
complex things that are hard to do, like dance moves or things like that, or even just like studying something in a book.
Right.
You know, it really helps to like hardwire it into your nervous system because of the dendrite outgrowth.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Lion's mane.
And it tastes delicious, too.
Yeah, there's 3 different strains,
Yeah.
varieties that grow
Lion's mane.
in our
Yeah.
country.
Okay.
But yeah, Heracea marinaceous is the popular one that most
Okay.
people see. That's the lion's mane.
Nice.
But all 3 of them have those same similar medicinal qualities.
Yeah. Very cool.
Bear's head is in that same family too.
Yeah, that's another common. A lot of mushrooms
mushroom.
will be known by many names.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they will get variations, like you guys have pheasant back, dryad saddle, and I had never seen that one out east. until I came here. But that it doesn't exist, but it's just everywhere out here. It's the first mushroom you see in spring. You see the dryad saddle, you know your morels are out there, you know your spring kings are out there and things like that.
Yeah.
So there's definitely variations from state to state and area to area, but they're very similar.
Nice. Yeah. Very cool. Yeah. So if you were to take, like, let's say 3 mushrooms, you could only choose 3 that ever existed in the entire species of the mycelial kingdom forever. What would those 3 mushrooms be and why?
I know mine would be reishi.
They're probably going to be the same.
Yeah.
Mine and yours.
Well, definitely reishi.
Yeah.
You know, I would probably say turkey tail too,
Okay.
because of just like how amazing that is, and all the research that's been done on that. They've been using that in Asia. There's actually like a synthetic compounds that have been synthesized from turkey tail in Asia that they're using as like legit cancer treatments.
It's like pharmaceutical.
Yeah,
right?
I think so.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I think so.
And that's the synthesized, so the real thing.
Yeah, the real thing. I mean, just drink
Far
turkey tail
superior.
tea.
Yeah.
Or reishi too, because it's just like a panacea of health. It like
It's
Yeah.
the list of its abilities or qualities. It just goes on.
reishi
and on.
has like over 500 different peer-reviewed studies published on it for
Yeah.
different physiologic benefits.
Right.
Liver,
So,
immunomodulating, anxiety, all
yeah.
sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
So that's definitely on there. Turkey tail is on there. And I guess lion's mane would probably be pretty awesome too to have on there.
Yeah.
I want to say chaga. I think chaga is really cool, but
Yeah.
I haven't really had a lot of like. It hasn't really helped me as much as reishi and these other ones have. You know.
A direct benefit.
Yeah, it is the king of the mushrooms, and it's awesome and it's cool and everything, and it grows by us, which is really sweet, and I love foraging for it and finding it.
Yeah.
But it hasn't really helped me as much as reishi has. What would be on your list, man?
I would be 2 out of 3. I would go reishi, chaga, lion's mane probably. For me, the chaga, I've had really great results, especially with anti-inflammatory issues. People that have especially joint issues, whether it's knees or back or things like that. It's really good for chronic pain, I think. It's got a ton of antioxidants in it.
Nice.
It's just a fantastic mushroom. It's a great like survival type of mushroom if you want to go there with it or
Why do
something.
you say that? Like,
Just because it's different than the rest of the mushrooms. It's technically a sclerotia. The chaga is the fruiting body. It is the whole thing, right? Chaga grows continuously throughout the year and year after year. It doesn't grow or fruit and then fall off and then grow back.
right.
So it's almost like a parasite. It's going to obviously kill the tree eventually.
Right.
But because of that, I just think it's great. You can forage for it all winter. You know, there's not as many things in the winter time that you can find. So
Right.
looking for birch trees, you got to get chaga off the birch trees.
Right.
It needs that white pigment, the betulin that's in the birch tree. That's where all the medicine is. That's where all the magic happens. So chaga can grow on other trees, but you want to make sure you're taking it off the birch trees when you're using it for medicinal reasons. You want to take it off the tree in the winter when the sap is down inside the trunk and all the medicinal qualities are right inside that. So
It's also known as tinder fungus by some
tinder
people.
sure, tinder fungus, yeah. There's a lot of mushrooms you can.
So Tinder?
Yeah,
Tinder.
because
Like the app Tinder?
yes, because you can use it to start fires.
Take this mushroom and find a partner.
It holds a spark really well,
Yeah.
actually.
What?
Tinder
Yeah,
or
the chaga.
chaga.
So you
Okay.
have your fire, you wake up in the morning,
Yeah.
you got your embers in the fire, you
Yeah.
take your piece of chaga, you hollow it out, you take an ember, you put it in there, you wrap it up, you put it in your pouch, you walk all day, right? We're
Yeah.
nomads, we're out, we're wandering.
Yeah.
You get to where you are at the end of the day, you unbundle it, you take your ember out, it's still glowing there. You
It
put
burns
in,
like a
and then
chunk of
off you
coal
go.
does.
So it's like coal, yeah. It's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
nice. Wow, that's really cool.
Yeah, it burns really hot
Yeah.
and just like coal.
Yeah.
In fact, if you like, it's only the orangey, spongy inside that is
That
flammable.
cork-like
Yeah,
material.
the outer black part, it's actually not flammable.
Yeah.
I-
But
I burned
It's a good
chaga a lot.
survival tip. If you're ever in the wilderness,
Yes.
chaga is your.
It'll
friend
even burn
for-
when
for
wet.
Heat.
That's
for
why it's
fire.
called tinder
Oh,
fungus.
really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So you want to be careful sustainability-wise.
Yeah.
Chaga can be, I don't want to say controversial, but there's a lot of people that are cautious of it because when things like this happen, a new mushroom or anything, right? People jump on the bandwagon. They all go out and start cutting it all down. So be respectful. When you go out there, only take what you need. Don't take it all. Chaga will grow back, but it grows very slowly. And it is very, very important to the overall balance of the environment. Yeah. So,
Chaga is one of the most slow-growing polypores that there is. It takes like 10 years for like a chunk like that size to grow.
Wow.
Yeah.
just appreciate where it comes from
Yeah.
and the time that went into making
What do you think about using birch polypore as an alternative to chaga? Right? Because it's also got betulin in it.
Yeah, so any of the mushrooms, most of my favorite mushrooms, except for reishi, come off of the birch tree, and it's because of that white pigment that's in there.
Which does what? What is
It's
that?
the betulin. It's depending on which mushroom you're talking about. The science behind it is kind of technical, but basically, if you want to get into that type of mushroom, if you're like, how would I explain this? Depending on what you're trying to treat. Between the birch polypore, the iceman, right, which is the tinder conch, the medicinal qualities between just the mushrooms that grow on those trees. They cover a really wide variety of different conditions.
I heard that birch polypore actually has more betulin in it than even chaga does.
Maybe. I haven't,
And a lot of people are like advocating people go out and forage that because it grows so much more rapidly than chaga does.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's got like the same benefits.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's
Birch
something to
polypore.
consider.
Profile.
Birch
Yeah.
polypore is all a lot of skin conditions, skin cancers, things like that. Yeah.
Nice.
Topical
Yeah,
topical
absolutely.
application of it?
Yeah, and internal.
Mushrooms topically.
Yeah, nature's Band-Aid.
Yeah.
The birch polypore story, like up in Maine, camping with a friend, got a really bad cut. It was the fall, so birch polypore is everywhere. Sliced a couple of thin pieces off it, taped it on there. Came back down the hill expecting to go to the hospital, and it was almost healed. And to this day, he has no scar now or anything. Never even went to the hospital. So
I have a story.
survival tools, things
Nice.
like that.
This is not really related to that, but I feel like the story needs to be said. I wish I knew that back then because when I was this is like 4 years ago, I was on the Appalachian Trail with my buddies, and we didn't have any first aid kit or anything, but my buddy had this bottle of wine that he really wanted to drink, and he didn't have a wine opener for him. Nobody had a wine opener, so he couldn't open it. But he saw this like video on the internet of like putting the wine bottle in a shoe and then like hitting it against like a wall or something, and the cork starts to like come out, and it was working. He started doing this, and it started to come out really slowly. He's like, "Wow, it's working! This is amazing!" And then he started like doing it like harder, and I was like, "Dude, that's gonna break." As soon as I said that, it breaks, and his hands just like it just I mean, he hit this wine bottle against a tree, it shattered. Red wine went everywhere, so we couldn't tell if he was bleeding or if it was red wine. I got my water bottle and I like washed his hands, and his hands. This is like on the first day of like a 2-week hike on the trail.
Wow.
His hands were just shredded up and lacerated with from the glass. But if we knew about birch polypore, it might not have been that
Could
bad.
have kept on hiking.
Yeah, he kept on hiking. He had all these like gross gauze bandages and everything. Like that was like on the first day. The first day of a really hardcore like hiking trip.
Like the worst possible timing. Wow. Well, good to know. Yeah. So mushrooms for first aid purposes, for survival, and for medicine.
Yeah.
Which is really cool.
Tonic use.
Well, once you dry it, like the chaga, once you dry it,
Yeah.
you got this big piece of medicine that's good forever.
Yeah.
You take it around with you wherever you go, and someday you need it, it's there.
Yeah.
It's interesting, like in the world
Just
of
cut it off and
Just break it off.
Yeah.
in the world of like herbs, there are like tonic herbs and then there are like medicinal herbs.
Yeah.
Tonic herbs can be like taken all the time,
Yeah.
and medicinal herbs, they're usually so powerful that you don't want to be taking them all the time because they like can cause an imbalance. Like echinacea, for example, it's like a powerful immune system stimulant. You don't want to be like taking that all the time because it can like cause autoimmune issues or exacerbate them. But most of these medicinal mushrooms that we're all talking about here, these polypore ones, chaga, reishi, they're tonic in nature, meaning that you can just like take them every day, you know?
And you will continue to get the benefits. They will actually build up in your system. Or plants, sometimes you can build up a tolerance, so you take them for 6 to 8 weeks, then you'd stop and take a break. Where mushrooms, you can continually take them, whether it's a tincture or something like that.
Yeah, and it just keeps getting better and better and better. And like it's almost like you have to take them that way if you want to experience the benefits or the effects of them.
Yeah, And
Right.
one thing
Sweet.
I may clarify:
Yeah.
if you are somebody that's battling with cancer or something like that, and you hear people talk about medicinal mushrooms and that you should really look into this, you should. But one thing I like to clarify is it doesn't have to be one or the other.
Yeah.
A lot of people think I have to go holistic and I have to dive into the mushrooms and I can't use chemotherapy or radiation. And one thing a lot of people don't know is mushrooms and radiation chemotherapy go really well together.
Yeah.
So that even if you want to do both, you can, and the mushrooms will help actually make the experience with chemo and radiation go a lot easier.
Right.
So make the experience a little more comfortable.
Yeah. So radiation is killing a lot of cells.
Yep.
It's good to have something.
Mushrooms are great at helping them grow back.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Nice.
they can just make the whole experience a little easier.
Yeah.
Especially the lion's mane, right? A lot of people get nerve damage
Yeah.
from conventional treatments.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
so
Keep those nerves healthy. I love it. Cool. Well, I think that's about it. We're here once again at Divine Pine Gathering in Irish Hills, Michigan, with these two amazing individuals sharing information about mushrooms. If you want to learn more about Pete or Blake, check out their links and information below to check out what they do, what they're working on, and the good work that they're doing in the world. And I think that's just cool to have people like this in a space like this. We've shared a lot of stories and information with each other, resources, and it's just cool to come to events and gatherings and festivals like this and connect with like-minded people and be more well-balanced and understand nature and in different ways and all that kind of stuff. So please like this video, leave some love, leave a comment.
smash that
subscribe.
like button.
Smash that like button.
Leave a comment.
And once again, check out the information below, and we'll see you in the next video. Thank you for your time.
Thanks a lot.
Awesome.